Welcome back. Let's take you back to our top story now. 6 months on from the October the 7th attacks, talks are due to begin again in Egypt today to try to secure a ceasefire. Let's go live to Jerusalem and speak to Israeli government spokesperson Avi Hyman. Good morning to you. Thanks a lot for joining us. Do you think the situation has gone as planned from Israel's point of view?
Well, from Israel's point of view, today feels like October 184th. We still feel the raw emotion of October 7th when Hamas death squads plowed through our borders, raping small girls in front of their parents, killing parents in front of their children, children in front of their parents, and burning entire families alive. We still feel that pain, and we are committed to our war aims to destroy Hamas, to bring home the now 133 hostages, and to ensure that Gaza doesn't pose a threat to us. So from that perspective, we're ploughing ahead. We've made a lot of ground. We've taken out 19 out of 24 Hamas terror battalions, and we will continue until total victory.
And you've also killed 33,000 Palestinians and injured 76,000, according to figures from Hamas. You're shaking your head there. Why?
Yeah, thank you for saying, according to figures from Hamas. This is one of the main issues that we're dealing with, is that we're up against Hamas that butchered babies and now butchers the truth. And sadly, so many in the international media are ready to copy and paste those figures. Those aren't the figures. Like I said, 19 out of 24 battalions taken out. We have taken out at least 13,000 Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorists, taken off the battlefield more than 25,000, meaning killed, injured, or apprehended. And in this type of time, when you compare it with other similar urban warfare scenarios, of which there are none, because there is no example of a terrorist organization that has embedded itself for 16 years deep underneath and within a civilian population with the purpose of getting maximum civilian casualties. There is no other war scenario like that. However, experts from England and America have said that we've gone out of our way to avoid civilian casualties, something that we will do continuously.
But civilian casualties have happened nonetheless.
Yes, of course. In every single war since the invent of mankind, civilians have sadly died in wars, and that's on both sides. I speak as someone who personally has lost people in this conflict. War is awful. We didn't choose this war. We didn't want this war. It was forced upon us by Hamas, and we need to ensure that it doesn't happen every week, which is what Hamas wants.
If you dispute the Hamas figures, what are your figures for the number of civilians who've been killed in Gaza?
In this type of a scenario, it's very difficult, if not impossible, as the war's going on, to ascertain an exact number. This isn't a video game. This is a very messy and difficult...
No one's saying it's a video game, far from it. But if you know that civilians have died, and if you dispute Hamas's figures, how many is it? Tens, hundreds, thousands? Maybe it's more than 33,000.
I've just told you that we've taken out more than 13,000 terrorists. I can tell you that even if someone were to take a loose understanding of the Hamas figures, that would still put us on a combatant to civilian casualty ratio far better than most Western armies. So we are confident that we are working in the best possible way. I mean, we moved populations...
I'm sorry to interrupt you again. The best possible way or the least worst way, which is it?
I'm not sure I understand the question. What I can tell you again...
Well, the best possible way can't be that any civilians die, surely.
Yeah, and you're speaking to someone, again, who has lost people in this conflict. We saw 1,200 Israelis killed on the first day of this conflict when Hamas launched a war against us. And we have no option but to win it. This is an existential war. It's a war for our very existence, because we know that this is on multiple fronts. It's not just in Gaza. People are looking at Gaza, but we're being attacked from Lebanon in the north, from Syria in the north, from the Houthis in the south, and also a drone came over from Iraq just the other day and hit a target. An Iranian drone hit a target in Israel. So these are the Iranian proxies of terror. This is an enemy of Great Britain as well as it's an enemy of Israel. And they seek our destruction and they seek your destruction. So we have no option but to defeat Hamas and to ensure that they don't pose a threat to the women and children of Gaza and Israel.
And you're adamant that the Israeli government is going about it in the right way, which then begs the question, the next question, Avi Hyman, is Benjamin Netanyahu still going to go ahead with a ground invasion of Rafah?
Absolutely. If we don't go ahead with Rafah, we lose the war. It would be like saying to Churchill, you know, you've done some great work. Normandy, fantastic job, making good headway throughout Nazi Germany. But Berlin, where all the leadership, etc., are, you know, stop there. That's impossible. We need to get home the 133 Israeli hostages. We need to destroy Hamas in a way that they don't have the operational capabilities to run the Gaza Strip and to attack us anymore. And that's exactly what we'll do. There are the four last battalions of Hamas are in Rafah, and they need to be taken out.
I'm very surprised that you mentioned the Second World War in relation to all of this. It's just something I would be very reluctant to do. Of course, I'm sure you understand. The final question is, with all that in mind, based on the building up of troops and the potential ground invasion of Rafah, what's the point of joining ceasefire talks today in Cairo, then?
We learned, firstly, let me just say that Hamas is doing its utmost to do the bidding of Adolf Hitler. Their aim is to kill all Jews in Israel and all Jews around the world. So I think the comparison was fair. Secondly, I'll say that we will do our absolute utmost to ensure that we keep up maximum military pressure against Hamas, and we keep all of the diplomatic channels open. Because remember, we freed about half of the hostages with using that formula. We know that unless Hamas has the carrot and stick, unless they know that we are coming forward to defeat them, to destroy them, you know, they're just putting out wild offers on the table that are relevant to us.
I'm afraid we have to leave it there. Avi Hyman from the Israeli government, thanks very much indeed for joining us on Sky News this morning.